iron the NFL with the with the backdrop of the draft that just completed yesterday, and some folks are excited, some folks not so much. We talked about the Vikings, the Cleveland Browns, who actually have some hope, and then of course our Dallas Cowboys right here in the DFW area. Manny, I'm gonna give the spotlight to you to shine it directly onto the Kansas City Chiefs. Have they fixed what ailed them last year? How do you feel about this draft? What they addressed with the draft, and how the recovery for one Patrick Mahomes is going. What is the outlook for next season for the Kansas City Chiefs?
I think overall we did good. I would probably give us a B. I don't know how the rest of the analysts looked at it, but we really needed some defensive help. Other than Chris Jones, really missed a lot of key players that have left over the years. So I think overall it was a good draft. I'm even surprised they got a backup underling in the seventh round. He should be a decent quarterback as well for Patrick. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah. So, and I think, Shep,
Garrett.
you're gonna have, yeah, you're gonna have a lot of insight on that, being the LSU quarterback. How did he fall that far down into the seventh round?
I think he played hurt last year. I think that's what it is, and it made him look a lot worse than he really is. I don't think he's going to be the guy that replaces Mahomes. I think Mahomes is going to. I mean, I haven't seen anything indicating Mahomes is not going to recover, and if he does recover, Mahomes is still probably got a lot of miles on those legs, right? And in the arms,
Yeah.
or in the arm. So but I think Nussmeier fell because he played hurt last year for LSU. And Brian Kelly apparently didn't even know the names of his players. Like that's a problem.
Bad. Yeah.
Right. He was making God only knows how much money, and I think he just kind of mailed it in, even if he didn't know he mailed it in. And so LSU was a real mess.
It was.
And I
It
think
was.
that. And Nussmeier, I think, was one of the biggest losers out of that, because he was projected as a possible first round pick going into the year. The talent's still there.
Yep.
I think
there was legit conversation about the Heisman. I mean, everything was there. So I was shocked because of all of that. As we were saying about Florida and what the NFL front offices are doing, they understand the talent and they understand the dysfunction of the coaching staff. I was really surprised that they didn't understand it with Nussmeier. And maybe, again, we all, well, I don't know, Manny, I don't know if actually you do too. Yeah, all three of us have our first and second team, right?
Yep.
And the Bills are actually at the top of the game, if I might say, because they're my first team and they're the second team for both. No, wait, your second is the Cowboys, Shep?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah. Um, so I'm happy. I think Nussmeier has a solid chance of being, provided that Patrick Mahomes recovers completely, which there's no indication that he won't, and he's still going to be the starter for the next 5, 6, 7 years or so. But Nussmeier has a great chance of being his backup, a solid backup, a really good backup for the next 3, 4, 5 years, um, because the talent is, as you said, Shep, the talent is there. And I was just shocked to see him fall this far. But hey, what I loved about the Kansas City Chiefs draft was that they bookended their draft with LSU players. And I really loved it. Not just the fact that they picked the LSU cornerback with trading up to get to, what was it, the sixth or the seventh, right? Sixth. They traded up to the sixth pick to get not our buddy Mansoor, but Mansoor Delane. So Manny and I know a Mansoor. I went to high school with him, who is look, I love Mansoor, but he is the farthest thing from an athlete. So,
Tuta, if you're listening, we don't mean it.
I mean, I was just sitting there chuckling when this came out, and I was like, the name's the same, but these two things are not the same.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. I think the defense, we pretty much just focus on getting a lot of speed rushers. So I think the team is going to be pretty fast. defensively. And for a team that expected to go to the Super Bowl, every year with Patrick, to be 6-11 last year, didn't even make the playoffs. We're really hoping for a turnaround this year. Let's see.
Yeah. So the thing is, it's easy with that long distance lens. In a couple of years, people will look at 25 and say, "Oh yeah, Patrick Mahomes got injured. That's why Kansas City had a down year."
True.
But they had a down year before he got
we were
injured.
right.
Yeah, they did.
We were already
So
struggling.
I have a question for you, Nate. Like, who's he going to throw the ball to next year?
Well, the NFL isn't going to do anything with Rice, right? I mean,
She Rice, yeah.
Rashid's going to be like they're not doing anything. They've already
Yeah,
said.
but is he all the way back health wise? He seemed off last year, even when he came back.
Yeah, he didn't come back till I think later in the second half, right?
Yeah. Game
Yeah,
nine,
he
game
didn't come
10.
back till the second half of the year.
Yeah. Hopefully he's healthy this year, but he's definitely and then Worthy. I think we have him again, right?
Yep.
I've been so
He was just
focused
a
on
rookie last year.
basketball, to be honest, but I'm excited. NFL season started now with the draft. So, who do you think is the biggest winner and the biggest losers in your guys' opinion?
Okay. Well, unfortunately, that's a good segue. And I know I said I was going to take off my my fan hat, but it's difficult. So yeah, are there other bigger losers? There probably are, but I just feel as a Buffalo Bills fan, I feel that they really, really failed us with this draft. I just don't understand. Shep already kind of alluded to it, right? I just don't understand. We've known for 2 years, 3 years, as Diggs started to go down and drop some catches and just go down in production. We've known the Buffalo Bills need one thing and one thing. They need to give Josh Allen the weapons. I
Right.
love Patrick Mahomes. I love what he does in the playoffs. But I will still, in a vacuum, from the measurables and what he can do with his arm, with his legs, the passes that he can thread into impossible windows, I think Josh Allen slightly better than Mahomes from a talent standpoint. What Mahomes
Okay.
has accomplished is unparalleled. Like that puts him as the best quarterback of the last 6 years. Yes, absolutely. So the one thing the Bills are missing are weapons for this guy. Otherwise, you're wasting his years.
So how's it going to make you feel when the Patriots trade for A.J. Brown?
We've been talking about it for a year, right? For a year, well, maybe not the whole year, but once his discontent showed up by week 2 or 3, we've been talking about the Bills. The Bills need to get A.J. Brown. The Bills need to get A.J. Brown. It's going to make me feel just like horrible. It's going to make me feel like I don't want to do want to have anything to do with football for a day or two. But yeah, I mean, that's the guy. That's who you need, right? It's somebody like that. And I understand A.J. Brown in 2026 is not the A.J. Brown in 2023 that the Titans gave to the Philadelphia Eagles. But he's still a legit, big-bodied, snatch it out of the air hands, beat your defender, and make contested catches on tight with tight coverage wide receiver. That's who he is. That is exactly what Josh Allen needs. And they didn't do it. They've put all of their eggs in this one basket of Skylar Bell, right? The round 4 pick out of UConn. Is he the answer? I don't know.
What position was he?
Wide receiver. Wide receiver,
wide
round
receiver,
4,
okay.
Skylar Bell.
Yeah.
That's the only wideout they picked. So what are they? They're hoping that Kincaid continues to develop. And look, he showed signs. They re-signed Knox, so they will have maybe they'll just run a lot of 2 and 3 tight end sets with Hawes and Knox and Kincaid. But that's not what you need with a quarterback.
You need like a star quarterback. A star wide receiver.
Yeah.
Someone that's like proved himself somewhere else, still has some couple years, you're right. I mean, this is kind of a interesting pick. I mean, Connecticut, like, who have they played? They're not like from the SEC or
Yeah.
so it'll be interesting.
Uh, interesting is not that's not how I would describe it.
I'm just glad Buffalo is not my first team. Just because you have to go through so much every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and while they're not my second team, I do have affection for Buffalo, and I want them to do well.
Right.
And it's just weird to watch the different ways that they can not succeed.
Yeah.
They're cursed like the Cubs were forever.
Look, if everything goes well, right? And here I am now. Now I'm putting my fan hat on. If everything goes well,
Wait, you never took it off, but go on.
DJ Moore, if he can truly be that guy, and he's got the talent, he's shown in the past, not in recent past, right? We saw what he did with the Bears and how he lost out playing time and lost out targets to not just Loveland, the tight end, but what's his name? Drawing a blank. The kid who came out of nowhere, who became their number one wide receiver. Shep, help me out. The Bears wide receiver, the rookie who finished the season really well.
Yeah,
you know who I'm talking about.
You talking about Xavier Thomas from LSU?
No.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember his name, but that's what allowed them to move off of DJ Moore. Like he wasn't supposed to be that guy. DJ Moore was supposed to be
Luther
the guy. Burden, Luther Burden.
There we go. Sorry.
Yeah. So we see that DJ Moore lost time, snaps, and targets to this guy. So is he on the decline? Possibly. But if the Bills can get the DJ Moore of 24 and 23, right? This guy had 1,000-yard season with Justin Fields at quarterback.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. Justin Fields is awful.
Yep. So if he can be that what, and he is that, we always talk about this is one of those things that's overlooked so much. In your wide receiver, you need that guy. I think the difference between a pretty good wideout and a top end, hands down number one guy that your quarterback can look to is the guy who makes body catches versus snatching it out of the air, right? The Terrell Owens, the Jerry Rice, the AJ Brown, the Randy Moss. That's what those big time wideouts, that's what they need to make those hand catches going on. I mean, everybody. That's why I think CD Lamb, to a certain degree, I know the Cowboys fans aren't going to like this. He's a great route runner, and Dak puts the ball on him, but he's not that reach out and snatch the ball out of the air guy like these guys are that I've mentioned. And I understand these are all-time greats, right? Jerry, T.O., those guys. But that's what DJ Moore can display at times. He doesn't have the size that A.J. Brown does, but he does make those contested catches. He's still a burner. He's still got the speed. So could he, if everything falls right, could he be that number one wideout? Yeah, possibly. And that means Khalil Shakir all of a sudden becomes your second guy, right? They can't just blanket him with their best cornerback. He's that much better. You've got Kincaid. So I don't know why Mecole Hardman is still on the roster. He didn't do a whole lot, I guess, as a returner. And Keon, maybe they still have hopes for Keon, but he's going to be going into his fourth year.
But let's talk about the number one pick, man. Fernando Mendoza. I really think Raiders, obviously picking him as a rookie, he's a winner. I think Raiders are going to have a good season, and by next year, they may be, challenging Denver and Chiefs in the playoffs for the AFC West. So, what do you think about the pick they had and the rest of the cast around him?
Shep, I want to hear your thoughts on that, because I've got some thoughts, but I want to hold on to those. Mine are not terribly
I think that
positive.
would Mendoza have been the number one quarterback picked in any of the other drafts the last 10 years?
Hmm.
No, that's
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Last year
Yeah.
or
So
the year, yeah, no,
yeah, I
definitely
think
not. I don't think
I think Manny, what Shep's trying to say is he was not the number one pick because he was a hands down proven your starting quarterback, your franchise quarterback that you want to start with. He was the best quarterback available for a team that needed a quarterback in this draft, right? I think, and so Shep, I think you and I are on the same page, and I think you framed it really well. Would he be the hands down, definite number one quarterback in any of the drafts in the last 10 years? Probably not. He just
And I
happened to
think
be in a quarterback weak class.
I think you can like a lot of what he did in college and have questions because like Indiana's entire offense is based off of RPOs, right? Like almost every play is an RPO. Right? And he made really good reads, but I don't know. I think people are talking themselves into him because the Raiders needed a quarterback and they needed somebody to be a quarterback number one in the draft.
So here's how my thoughts. I've kind of shared some of those. That yes, I think I'm right in line with you, Shep. That he was more a product of happenstance. The Raiders needed a quarterback more than anything else. He was the best quarterback in this class. He had a great year at Indiana, culminating in a national championship and a Heisman. Right, all of those things make sense. And at the top end, what I'm thinking is he could end up for the Raiders. He could end up being a Russ Wilson of the first 5 years with the Seahawks, right? Because Russ Wilson came in as they didn't know he was going to be Russ Wilson that ended up being on the field for the first 5 years, right? He was this small guy with some talent but some questions, and he ended up just being superb for the Seahawks, right? The deep ball, the winning, the fourth quarter comebacks. So at the top end, I think Mendoza can be that. The probability of that, I'd probably put at 10%, but he can be that.
Yeah, maybe not the very first year, but I think he's got a lot of upside, man. I really like his work ethic, family background, and he's proven himself in college. So we'll see.
I do like his intangibles.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. So can he do it? I think at the top end, he can be a Russ Wilson. I don't think he's not in danger of not winning the starting job. He's not in danger of not being on day one roster. Oh, that's never going to happen. Even Jamarcus Russell was given a season and a half, right? But at worst, I think he has a 5 to 7 year journeyman type career. But even to me, the probability of that is around that 5-10%. So I think he's going to be a good quarterback. Could he be another David Carr for the not David? It was a younger Carr. No, Derek was older. So David Carr. Could he be another David Carr for them? Possibly. Right? A ho-hum, pretty good quarterback.
Derek Carr was the one who plays for the Raiders, right? And then
yeah. I don't know. I can't keep those straight. Maybe David was the older.
Whichever Carr brother it was.
Yep. So yes, I think that's what realistically that's what I see him being. A little flash, maybe a couple of seasons of top end production, but I mean, the probability of him carrying them to elite status and or a championship, pretty small, but it's there. I think he's got the talent, he's got the pedigree, he's got not necessarily a pedigree from being from a big school, but what he did at a small school against the odds, right? The season that Indiana had, and I know we've put a lot of credit for that on Cignetti, but I think Mendoza had a lot to do with it. I don't know if Cignetti has that type of success without a quarterback like Mendoza on that roster in Indiana. So yeah, I think with all of that said, did they do the right thing? Yes, absolutely. He was the best quarterback with a lot of positives going for him, and they needed a quarterback.
Right.
I think what they really helped themselves with was they knew, they kind of telegraphed this, right? That this was going to be their pick because the top free agent in free agency, Linderbaum, right? They
Yeah,
signed
he's
him.
good.
They signed him to anchor that offensive line. And what does a young quarterback need, no matter how talented?
Time.
Time.
Yeah.
He needs help. He needs protection. He needs weapons. And they absolutely did him a great favor by signing the best offensive lineman in free agency well before they drafted him. So yeah, I think they're gonna surprise some folks, because remember what we forget about, how much were we raving about Ashton Genty going into the season, the season that he had
Well,
the year
I don't know
before.
who he is because I wasn't.
Well, so in spite of the bad numbers that Janty had, especially starting off the season, right, being hit behind the line by like his average impact was minus 2.5 yards or whatever. In spite of that, he ended up having a pretty good rookie season. And that's going to be improved because he's going to be 1 year older, more experienced, and the offensive line is stronger. He's not
I
going to
think
be
he'll be okay. Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be transformative back.
probably not transformative. But the thing is, the NFL, we talk about these stars, but we all know it's about the team, and each increment, each piece adds a little bit to what is needed for that. I mentioned Russ, but Russ didn't do it alone, right? It was the Legion of Doom. It was the linebackers. It was the
Marshawn
offensive
Lynch.
line. It was the
Yeah.
wide receivers coming out of nowhere, right? It wasn't just Russell. It was those two wide receivers that also came out of nowhere, to whom he was throwing those bombs, who kept getting open. So I think from that regard, Mendoza is going to be a good ingredient. Linderbaum is going to end up being a pivotal addition here, which is going to incrementally increase Janty's production, which is going to incrementally allow Mendoza some safety, right? Janty also caught a lot of balls out of the backfield. So what is your quarterback's best friend, a young quarterback's best friend? A running back who can slip out into the flat and get some dump off passes. So I think they've got all the right ingredients. They will improve. I wouldn't be shocked if I see them sneak into the playoffs,
In
but
his first year,
yeah, I wouldn't be
Mm.
shocked, but it would be
Okay.
a surprise to me if they improve that much. But I think they did the right thing with Mendoza. Like that was their only choice.
That was a good pick for sure. I think, what about the local team? Dallas, I think
We're
is
gonna-
really good, right?
Yeah. We talked a little bit about that.
Yeah.
We're gonna get them again. I'm a little over on a break. Let's take a quick break. We're gonna come back. I think this one is gonna be a little shorter. We'll be back in about 4 to 5 minutes, and then we'll touch on the Cowboys again, and then we're gonna swivel the spotlight over to the NBA playoffs, playing second fiddle to the NFL draft.
Mm.
That is the world we live in. You're listening to
I'm
this.
definitely excited about the NBA. Let's definitely talk about that.
Absolutely.
LeBron James.
All right, you're listening to the Sports Spotlight right here on Radio Azad.
Is Radio Azad streaming in Dallas, Fort Worth, and all around the world.
आप सुन